Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session that we're going to tackle issues of scaling natural, farmer-managed natural regeneration in Africa. And we will be zooming in Kenya and Ethiopia. We'll be sharing experiences on how FMNR has been transforming landscapes. My name is Dr. Carol Monini, and I'm your session moderator. We'll be hearing from experienced practitioners, researchers, programmers, who will be discussing on the tools, partnerships, and on enabling policies that is driving success to scaling up farmer-managed natural regeneration and also restoring landscapes in thousands of hectares within our landscapes. I would encourage you to interact with us through Slido by submitting your questions and also submitting your comments. We'll be reviewing your questions and comments during the panel discussions and also after the end of the session. But first, let me begin by introducing our speakers today. We have Mr. Humphrey Wafula from World Vision Kenya, who will introduce issues of FMNR for those who've had it for the first time. It's a great technology. It's a great approach that not only is it low cost, it's farmer-driven. It is community-driven. And we cannot do it alone, as all the speakers have been saying since morning. We need all of us. Humphrey is a dynamic project manager at World Vision Kenya, and he's currently spearheading the greater regeneration for Evergreen Environment Project in World Vision. He has a sharp focus on climate smart agriculture, and he's also on the farmer managed natural regeneration and a strong track record of delivering high impact projects. Welcome, Humphrey.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think as my name has been said, I'm Humphrey Wafula. I want to take you very briefly through what we mean by farmer-managed natural regeneration. It's an approach that World Vision Kenya is currently implementing. And we are seeing already a lot of transformation within the societies and the communities. But maybe before I delve into the presentation, I want to say that farmer-managed natural regeneration is not really a new concept. It's some technology that is borrowing from the traditions and the wisdom of our communities. What is FMNR? So farmer-managed natural regeneration, of course, as I've said, is a low cost, is a sustainable land restoration approach or technique that uses or it increases the number of trees from the degraded lands naturally, using the natural approach. And this involves a systematic regrowth of trees and the management of the same. From shrubs, we look at the shrubs and the trees that are regenerating from either it is trees that were cut off and then the stems are maybe sprouting again, or it could be seeds, or sometimes we have roots that are regenerating. The technology leverages on nature's own regenerative power or the ability for the environment to heal itself. So that's what we are looking for. And mainly it's a simple yet profoundly impactful solution for ecological recovery. I want to just show you briefly why FMNR is important. FMNR, from the practical point of view, we've used it to reverse desertification, and we've used it to improve soil fertility, because as the trees regenerate, pasture comes, and then the level of productivity for the land increases. Then it also increases crop yields. I think I will share some studies that we've done already based on the project that we implemented with GIZ, and even the current one that I'm already doing. We are doing a bit of research also to showcase and give the evidence that it's working. What are the other elements? I think, why should we, how does it work? You just select the trees that are regrowing or the shoots that are coming up, and then you prune those that you feel like are weak so that you maintain the strong ones, and you fence off or protect the area and allow regrowth. And then why should you care? I think climate, it's one of the climate action that is not expensive. It's very simple. As compared to tree planting, this one is very simple. Then it empowers local communities, it creates food security, and enhances resilience. Then lastly, I want to ask all of us to join hands to be able to help us to promote this technology of farmer-managed natural regeneration. And we will be sharing the information where you can get all this information so that you are able to also be part of champions for this technology. I think this is just some data of what we've managed to achieve so far in terms of the acreage, the people that we've reached, over 100,000. We've engaged over 399,000 people and stakeholders, farmers in championing for FMNR. And then we've also reached schools, whereby we've seen the technology reaching to over 5,000 students, pupils, mainly in primary schools. And then we've also sensitized over 100,000 lead farmers, and we can see those statistics. I think we are seeing there's increase of proportion of households managing tree cover sustainably from as low as 54.16% in 2019 to 95%. And this is a study that has been done, and therefore we can share with you. Through social media also we've reached over 5 million people, and we are still continuing the efforts. And then we've also seen the issue of increase in access to food, increasing from 13% to over 23%. And then also many households have reported higher incomes and sustainable tree products, leading to greater financial resilience among the households that we are working with. I will not delve into details on the approaches, but I'll just summarize the approaches that we are using as World Vision Kenya. Of course, you know, we really work with the communities. So the communities are number one. And therefore, we do direct implementation, whereby we work directly with the communities because community are critical. And even from our other presentations, I think we heard about why we need to involve the communities. Then number two, we are working in partnerships, whereby we partner with other stakeholders to ensure that the technology is able to, replicate in other areas where we are not reaching. And then we have the social spread. This is whereby we are using media to advertise and have engagements, but also where a farmer learns from another farmer and they go implement. So we are seeing replication of this technology. But finally, we realize that we cannot do all this if there is no conducive environment in terms of the legal framework. And in the morning, I think you could, somebody said, where is the government and all that? So we know we need policies, we need regulations that are favorable to ensure that FMNR remains for posterity. Otherwise, thank you very much. I would want to end there. Thank you.
Thank you, Humphrey, for that, for the insights. Just to give us some details on World Vision's FMNR scale-up, one of the main things that's really happening is on enabling policy environment. And we realized that the way our education system has trained us over the years is that the only way to grow trees is through planting a tree. But we realized we already have the materials that can grow and regenerate in our environments when they are given the correct growing environment, the correct space to grow. And that is where FMNR is coming in. We also have the issues of our education system. After realizing that, we engaged the Ministry of Education through the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development to integrate FMNR into our education system. And currently, in our senior and junior schools, we will be having FMNR through community service learning. So this is something that every Kenyan learner, before they transit to tertiary education, they will be learning about. So at this moment, let's cross over across the continent to Ethiopia. We will be hearing from Mr. Abira, who will share experiences on FMNR from GIZ work on scaling FMNR in the landscapes. Welcome, Abira.
Thank you, Dr. Carol, for the invitation. I want to first welcome all to my presentation. I am here to share Ethiopia experience on FMNR. My name is Abarrawan Dafresha from GIZ Ethiopia. Yeah, when you see my outline, it focuses on the land degradation, why FMNR is visible in Ethiopia, FMNR implementation, and the last one is challenges faced during our implementation. When you see the regard to the land degradation, can be caused by natural and as well as human beings, and it is a challenge of the global challenge, and also affects everybody, as you know. It is entirely related with the pressure of the population and the lack of awareness, and also with the migration and the settlement issues, and also the land use change, land tenure insecurity, and legal frameworks, yeah? So to reverse the land degradation, FMNR is one of the approaches which reverse land degradation, yeah? You can see how it seems the land degradation, the picture. Why FMNR is visible, now we are, we are looking the actual visibility of Ethiopia on the FMNR. Now it is really cost effective, and it is also good using the community lead. It is also simple and require low techniques. It is applicable in most land uses like forest land, farmland. It is also available of seed and seedling bank and stumps. Can easily combined with other restoration measures like construction of soil and water conservation and enrichment planting. It is also easy way to promote FMLR activities in communal forest areas. It is also intermediate, it gives intermediate products from wood as well as non-wood like fuel wood, grass, and it also generate income. Yeah, you can see the picture. Regard to the FMNR implementation of Ethiopia, yeah, we started with the consultation of partners regard to the approach. And we, next to that, we have engaged on the community organization. Yeah, we try to establish forest cooperatives here. And then after that, we were working on providing land certification to secure tenure. And next, we have been also involved on the production of, the preparation of the land management planning with the community. And we have also involved on capacity development through trainings, e-learning modules, experience sharing, and also on-site coaching and guidance. When it comes to the challenges faced when we were implementing FMNR in Ethiopia, the first challenge is land insecurity, yeah, because we have many communal lands, but there is still land security problem. Actually, our policy is focused on land use rights, yeah. And the second challenge is consideration of plant seedlings as the only revegetation means, yeah. The community focus on planting, okay? But FMNR is a very best condition to retain the environment. So this is also one of the problems. The last one is targeting short-term restoration benefits, yeah? As you know, FMNR, it needs a vision, yeah? It is a long-term development. So almost the community, I can say, they try to focus.
And that will be Dr. Kiruki from Southeastern Kenya University. He's an environmental scientist and a forest expert. He leads farmer-managed natural regeneration as a champion in the university by leading student-led initiatives where they are restoring, landscapes in the southeastern part of this country. Welcome, Dr. Kiruki. We also have an online panelist, Ms. Hiwot. She's joining us from Ethiopia. She's a forestry expert with a strong background on tropical forest management. She began her career as a university academician before transitioning to development sector. She has a lot of experience across the globe on conservation, landscape restoration. Thank you so much. Welcome, Hewart. Can you hear us? Please confirm that you can hear us.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Thank you. These panelists will be discussing in depth on matters of FMNR. They will also be looking at what are some of the issues of policy that can really influence the scale up or the adoption of matters of FMNR. They will be taking also questions from our participants. And I really encourage us we could have the QR code for the Slido. We really need to have your comments to interact with us, but also questions from you online and the in-person participants. Thank you so much. We already have some questions. Yeah, I will go with you, Dr. Harold. Sorry, I'll go with you, Hewart. We know from your experience on matters of implementing restoration projects across the globe and also within Africa, you've encountered so many stakeholders. And some of them are community members, some of them could be private sectors, they could be governments. From your experience, what roles would the communities, the governments, the development partners, whom we know are here today, play to effectively scale up FMNR practices? Hewart, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Kalor. Definitely, FMNR, as has been mentioned by the presenters, is a multi-stakeholder engagement. It's not only the community who will achieve it, neither the government nor partner organizations only. It is a collaborative effort which results in success. For example, governments would have very crucial role in the process by enacting and enforcing policies. In this perspective, I would like to mention an example from the experience of Ethiopia while we were implementing farmers managed natural regeneration. One of the first challenges that we have encountered was land use right. So for the land use rights, we had to go through the policies, all the policy frameworks, how it could be supportive towards implementing FMNR. And luckily, there are very good policies enacted. And what we have seen as a challenge was the enforcement. So with the support of the local government institutions, it was possible to secure land use right for the community who currently is engaged in implementing forest landscape restoration with the support of farmers managed natural regeneration. So I would say government will have a big role in enacting policies, strategies, and also getting them enforced. Probably, another issue is government usually consider restoration activities with tree planting activities only. So the involvement of government in promoting farmers managed natural regeneration as a supportive restoration means would also be very crucial in upscaling farmers manage natural regeneration. So like awareness creation, promoting and integrating in policies, restoration policies, regreening policies, the act of FMNR would also be very crucial from the government side. Coming to the perspective of community, as has been mentioned earlier, community plays a very important role, and also they are the focus of natural resource utilization, conservation, and also management. So I would say communities can participate in the actual implementation of the farmers managed natural regeneration, as has been mentioned earlier by Humphrey, all the activities of fostering natural regeneration, managing the brands, and all the physical activities aligned with FMNR is expected to be handled and implemented by the community. So they have this active engagement, active involvement in the operational role in the process. And also, as I say, natural resources at the center of community livelihood, and the commitment and the engagement toward this, the use of these restored resources, natural resources, in a sustainable manner would be the expectation from the community, what is expected from the community. So I would say forward looking toward the sustainable management of the restored natural resource with the implementation of FMNR, and actually implementing FMNR would be something which would be contributed from the community. In terms of talking about other stakeholders like academia, research institutions, development partners, CSOs, all these stakeholders have also an important role in disseminating the knowledge, the skill. Even currently now, quite a number of NGOs, CSOs, including World Vision, GIZ, and the others, are promoting and integrating farmers managed natural regeneration in the program of in their program in landscape restoration. So this is one role that the partner institutions can support in the process. Academic institutions research by conducting relevant research in promoting the activity, and also in supporting the activity of FMNR, and also supporting policies and strategies, the enactment and the enforcement of policies and strategies is also something expected out of the different partners in the restoration landscape. Thank you very much. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you, Heward, for the in-depth discussion on the role the different stakeholders would play in scaling FMNR. I'm really excited on the part where you talked about policy. It's really cutting across from the government, supporting not only the policy development, but also, ensuring the implementation of the policies. Research institutions are also supporting the development of policies that would support regeneration, natural regeneration. And that brings me to you, Dr. Kiruki, from your experience as a researcher, and you've worked extensively with communities. You've also engaged in development of various policies. Please share how FMNR contributes not only to forests, but also the landscape restoration across Africa, but really what makes it particularly suited in this context, the African context. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carol, and thank you, everybody. As our previous speakers had said, FMNR actually harnesses the power of nature to regenerate landscapes. And if I can remember very well, in the morning, somebody said that 60% of the degraded land is actually found in Africa. But what I would want to say is that the FMNR is a very powerful tool for regeneration because one, the degraded land is found in the farms. It is found in places where we do our grazing. It is also found in public land. In other ones, it is found everywhere. And all that land, what it means is that it needs somebody, a land manager, to give maybe the tree stumps, the seeds, and the roots an opportunity to sprout up so that they can continue growing. So what makes FMNR very special is that one, it can be practiced by everybody. You do not need very special skills because we know that this is an indigenous technology that has been there. So we do not need special skills so that you can practice it. Maybe what you need are some few innovations here and there to improve on what is there. So that one makes it very, very peculiar kind of technology because it can be practiced by everybody. And again, we heard that it is very low cost, which means the external inputs are very minimal. What does that one mean? It means that you do not need to do some external funding or something from outside your ecosystem or from outside the community ecosystem so that you can implement it. You can actually do it with the existing resources, which as an individual or which as communities you have. Number three, it is farmer-driven, meaning that farmers can integrate it with whatever they are doing. They can integrate it with their farming systems. They can integrate it with the grazing systems. For those who are living in towns, they can also practice it in the small plots which they have in towns. Therefore, then, we can say that this is a kind of a revolutionary kind of undertaking because of its universal applicability across everybody. And I can imagine if all of us, because all of us come from somewhere, if all of us are practicing FMNR, then it means that actually our landscapes will be restored. And even though it is called a farmer-managed natural regeneration, you don't really need to be a farmer. It's only that it is being associated with the farming. Everybody can practice farmer-managed natural regeneration. Thank you. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you, Dr. Kiruki, for highlighting on where FMNR can be practiced, why it's really applicable in Africa, and especially to our farmers. All you need is to protect your land, allow the material that's in that ecosystem to regenerate, and from there you manage what vegetations would you like to allow to grow in the species that you want to restore. Let me move to Humphrey. You talked about Kenya's experience. You have wealth of field experience on implementation of restoration projects. The success of FMNR in Kenya, especially by World Vision, is known. The morning moderator spoke about it. It's known not only in Kenya, but globally. What are some of the strategies that are making it a success? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think my colleagues have alluded to some of the strategies, but I will just want to insist mainly on a few. Number one, World Vision approach is to ensure community buy-in, that anything we do is owned and driven by the communities themselves. And I think that is the number one strategy to succeed in implementing FMNR. As my colleagues have said, yes, we are using the term farmer, but I think anybody else can do FMNR. In Ethiopia, they have done it in some of the hills, the community-owned hills. They have restored forests in those hills. But it's mainly because the community around there, they have bought into the idea and they are championing the restoration of those degraded lands. And as I said, nature has its own way of healing itself. But then as human beings, we need to just aid the process. And so that is the number one process, making sure the community own the process. Number two, we ensure that we involve other partners. So even today, I'm challenging all of us, whoever is interested, if you want to implement the model in your organization, wherever you are in your school institutions, we are willing to share the knowledge, come give you the detailed training, and then you can also upscale the same. Thirdly, we are looking also at the issues of the legal framework. And I think my colleagues have shared in detail about the legal framework. But then we are also, my colleague has shared about also looking at children in terms of curriculum as change agents. We are focusing on how we share the knowledge with them so that they can also take it to their homes. And in the future, they'll be the people implementing this technology in the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Humphrey. Maybe Abira, you may want to follow the strategies that Ethiopia is using to scale and implement FMNR. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harun. Yeah, when you see the strategies for Ethiopia, yeah, we are implementing directly with the community, starting from the planning, implementation, and monitoring and evaluation. So we have done the FMNR with active participation, yeah. And we are also believed on partnership. For example, we are working with international NGO like World Vision and also Vita, and we are also working with civil society organizations like Conso Development Association and others, yeah. And when you see the enabling environment, we have also very good legal frameworks. As you know, we are focused on natural resource protection and development, like we are working on green legacy. Yeah, and the final one, we are also working on advocacy to increase, you know, the awareness and understanding of different community levels on FMNR through like television, radio, and experience sharing and the like. Yeah, thank you. Back to you, Dr. Karun.
Thank you, Abira, for that. I like what you said about enabling environment. One of the ways or proven ways of scaling FMNR through social spread and enabling environment is through using systems that are already working. For example, the schools, the churches. We know in Kenya and most African countries, our populations belong at least to some religions, a big percentage. In Kenya, 85% at least belong to a certain religion, and we meet at least once in every week. So these are platforms. We're using the podiums in churches to preach and talk about FMNR, regeneration, and also using some of the sites, church grounds to be like FMNR learning sites. Before I come back to you, Hiwot Online, allow me to go back to Dr. Kiruki. Being a trainer, we know Kenya is leading training populations, students online on FMNR. My question to you is, what digital tools are you using? For example, I know the atingi platform is one of the tools, platforms you're using to train. So what are some of these digital, tools that you're using to train not only students, but also communities, and the supportive policy frameworks that are helping with that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you again, Carol. It is true what Carol has said, that we are training students. And one thing I want to point out is that university students come from across the country. And once you train them, or once they get some ideas, for sure we know that they are going to take them to their homes and the communities. And that, of course, has got a scaling effect. We have online e-learning platforms, like I think as just Carol has alluded, and we encourage our students who come from various disciplines, whether engineering, medicine, all the disciplines, to run through them because they are self-paced. They run through them, and then of course they get some certificates. They get certified, which means that they are now competent enough to talk about FMNR. Then these students have also formed clubs, and in the clubs they have the social media platforms like Facebook, which they use now to share experiences of what they are doing home, or what their friends are doing at home or in other places. And they also connect with other communities which are practicing FMNR. And then also we have the local radio stations, these small regional radio stations. When we get opportunities, we go to the radio stations and we share about FMNR in the local language of where our university is situated. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kiruki, on sharing of the digital platforms that you're using to scale up FMNR. Let me cross over to Hewat. We know there are some teething challenges on scaling up of FMNR across the continent, but there is a way that we are addressing some of these challenges. So Hewat, if you could share some of the challenges on scaling FMNR and how, or what is the best way to address them? Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, Dr. Carol. I would say one of the challenge, specifically that we have experienced in implementing FMNR in Ethiopia, was awareness. Earlier, Atwabera was also mentioning that most communities and also partner institutions consider tree planting as the major form of restoring and regreening landscapes. So creating awareness in a way that farmers manage natural regeneration, using the seed bank, the seedling bank, the existing seed and seedling bank from nature as a restoration means was one of the things that we had to do for people to know that there is also a potential, regenerative potential in nature. So awareness creation would be one of the gaps, like availability of awareness is one of the gaps that we have experienced. And for that, we had to do a lot of sessions for awareness creations, events, experience sharing visits, and the like. And I remember we had one experience sharing visit with farmers, local farmers from one district to another district where World Vision has had implemented FMNR for a very long period of time. And the impression from the farmers after looking into the experience from World Vision was really very eye-opener and inspiring, and they were very encouraged and motivated to do the same kind of restoration action in their degraded landscapes. So yeah, such kind of experience sharings, awareness creation events, short trainings could be really helpful. And as mentioned earlier, these digital platforms, digital learning platforms could also be very accessible now, like especially the youngest community have easy access and affiliation towards digital tools. So that would be a very good entry to create awareness in the younger community. So knowledge gap and awareness has been one of the challenge that we had addressed through experience sharing, trainings, and the like. Another thing. Free grazing was also a big challenge. In Ethiopia, specifically in Ethiopia, we have this open grazing system where the animals are roaming around in forested area and abandoned agricultural land and the like. So in doing that, the animals are browsing and stepping on the natural regeneration, which will definitely kill the natural regeneration. So that was also one of the big challenge, and we have gone through a lot of processes with government institutions, community organization, in addressing free grazing in the area and to have a proper grazing management in the landscape. The other challenge I would say is FMNR takes a little bit of time because we have to wait nature to give sproutings, to give regeneration and the like. And rural communities, especially those who base their livelihood on natural resources, could not wait very long time to get benefit out of the land to be restored. So that is also another challenge, like people only focusing on immediate needs rather than long-term benefits. So in terms of this, there are frequent land use changes, land grabbing, and the like for expanding agricultural practices in potentially farmers manage natural regeneration sites. So I would say these are some of the major challenges that we have encountered in Ethiopia. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you, Heward, for mentioning some of the challenges. One of the ways of addressing issues of rangeland, issues of free, grazing, is by having the range land management committees, something that we're already doing in Kenya, especially with our communal, in areas where we have communal kind of land tenure system. I would request if we could see some of the comments and any question in Slido, kindly. If you could project the QR code to be shared for comments. And maybe as we come to that, sorry. We have some comments. In our project, one of the main focus areas are job creation. How do FMNR promote job creation for rural people? What are the key barriers? I think that was addressed. How do we engage climate? So what are the key principles of FMNR? Humphrey, you think you can take that in less than a minute as we come to an end? And before Humphrey takes that, we have an FMNR hub for any questions that have not been addressed that I hope the QR code will be shared, but also any information, more information that you need on issues of FMNR, you can contact World Vision, whichever office they will, that is the QR code for our FMNR hub. It's showing here. So Humphrey, as we come to an end, what are some of the principles of FMNR.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think our time is up, but I want to point you to, you can just Google FMNR Hub, the Hub HUB. I think there is a knowledge base there. I think you can get all the source materials that you need, you can read through. And in case there is any challenge, please feel free to get in touch. I think the organizers will share our contacts, so we'll be able to get in touch with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our speakers, panelists, audience, for engaging through this session. I just have a few takeaways for us. FMNR is low cost, it's scalable, it's community driven, it's for all of us. We need strong partnerships. One party alone cannot practice FMNR. It's important to embrace FMNR on digital platforms like what Southeastern Kenya University and other teaching and learning institutions are doing in Kenya. Advocacy, any advocacy organization here, advocacy is key, and the integration to government policies, something that's already happening in the county implementation development plans. More scientific evidence is required, and we need all of us. We need the media, we need our youth, we need the integration in school systems, something that's already happened in Kenya and in Ethiopia. So as we close, I encourage all of us, whether in government, NGOs, academia or communities, to consider how to support FMNR. Let's continue restoring landscapes in Africa, one tree, one partnership at a time. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the global landscape forum. Thank you.